mind your damn business. If y'all don't wanna grow with me, it ain't your damn business. How y'all gon' trip just cause I ain't who y'all want me to be? Get y'all some damn business and stop worrying about what God's doing in me or the routes I chose. I'm growing, and only God knows.
Welcome to Trapping Ain't Dead, another day, another dollar. Peep gang, it's your boy Munch. Hope everybody's had a prosperous new year, happy holidays, all that good shit. So I got my good friend here, somewhat of a advisor. Fuck that, fuck somewhat.
We advise each other.
No, you do advise me though, cause I be needing help. I'm all twisted, but yeah, we advise each other. Mm-hmm. Francesca Menace. I'm saying it right?
Oh, you actually pronounced my name right.
When you
Some people say means.
Yeah,
I don't know where they get means from, but yeah.
Look, I had a teacher in 5th grade. Her name, in kindergarten when I was 5 years old, her name was Miss Trudy. She made sure we listened to Hooked on Phonics every motherfucking day. Okay? Shout out to Miss Hadley, 1st grade teacher. She did not play that shit. Broadmoor Elementary. You know what I mean? She did not play that shit. You did not pronunciate the right way. She's gonna pronunciate the right way. She gonna take your ass to that was.
Don't tell me with the ruler.
Not the ruler. We had the black pencil. You remember the black pencil?
No, I remember the ruler.
Nah, see, I don't know if it was different for the Zoe, but we had the black pencil.
I went to Edison Park.
Exactly. That's the difference. Look, we had it was a thick black pencil back in the day. Y'all, anybody in the audience remember that? Yeah. Okay, so I ain't tripping. So for any. Yeah, but no, I remember I got at Broadmoor. I never forget this. At Broadmoor, it was like these black pencils, and it was thick. Yeah. And she would literally say, "Hold your knuckles out," and it was like playing knuckles with the teacher. And she literally would hit you because that was a disciplinary thing back then.
Yeah, no, they could
when corporal punishment was a thing.
Yes, they could discipline.
I think we need that shit to an extent. But nowadays with everything we know, I think 2020 is about. We say 2020, that's clear vision, a 2020 vision. I think it's more about based on the numbers, based on like what I see. The tools is like duality. We're able to see both sides of the equation. I think in the last century, and even in the last decade, I think we've even from 2010 to 2020, it's been like a birth of thought or an age of information where we're more open to like different ideals, which I think is good and is needed. You know what I'm saying? So how are you taking in your 2020?
I'm just taking it in slowly. I've been locked up in my house, so I'm planning on going nowhere anytime soon until I got to start working again because I know it's about to be crazy. 2020, it's an election year, so I do political work, so that means I'm going to be sleeping for a while.
Yeah, so to give you guys like a little bit of an insight, some insight on what Fran does. Fran is what you call a community strategist and a legislative consultant. So I have some knowledge of what a community strategist does because my uncle, Clarence Edwards, I just was watching some shit with him where Jimmy Carter was coming into town like during the riots and or after the riots. And my uncle, I literally am like researching like some archival shit from like Miami. Yeah. And I see my uncle. I was like, oh shit, that's my uncle. Like literally. So but I never like growing up with my uncle, I always seen the Muhammad Ali's, the Jimmy Carters, Janet Reno, I got a picture with. But I don't know what actually like a community strategist does. Like what's the day-to-day? What does a community strategist do?
I mean, so the main thing I would say it's more about how do you leverage the power that you have access to advance your community? Because there's a lot of people who can step into rooms that our community normally wouldn't be able to step into. So it's like, how are you showing up in those spaces to make sure that because you're allowed there, that you bringing your people along? And so not too many people would call themselves community strategists because unfortunately people got their own, agendas.
Fuck it, I said it's Trapping Ain't Dead. You can say it. Ain't nobody.
They got their own agendas. They got their own reasons for being there, and it ain't necessarily our people. It's not our growth. It's not to advance our community. So that's why I made sure that when I, created my company, I was like, it's very easy thing to call it, which is community strategies, because that's ultimately what it is. It's like, how do I teach our community? How do we give them the tools that they need to be able to express themselves and basically uplift their voice, talk about the issues that are going on in their community, be civically engaged, and then activate that power, turn out, whether it's voting, whether it's knocking on doors and just having those one-on-one conversations with your neighbors just to understand what's happening so we can figure out how to transform it.
That's dope. But damn, that means I'm a strategist.
Yes, you are.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
You ain't no piece of the hood?
I mean, you know, with
That's strategy.
Well, we always talk
That's
about
strategy.
like how I'm not one of the people who like put titles on shit. So like when it comes to like being an activist, I try to stay away from that word.
You don't want those titles.
I don't want that title. You
Don't
know
want
what I'm
those
saying?
labels.
And no, I think it came out of a huge respect for people who were activists, right? So I don't want to call myself an activist, but I haven't dedicated my whole fucking life to that shit.
Yeah.
And it's people who are like full on, hard on like activists. That's what they do day to day. They organize, they hit the streets, they talk to people. And you know, it's some other people that's quasi organizing, but we ain't gonna get into that.
But activism,
but
you know,
activism,
it's tricky because you know you got people who get that high off being at a protest and making noise. But I need you to figure out how to move from the streets into these rooms to be able to actually make some change, because it's not all about being in the streets if you're not able to actually change the system. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought up that point, because that was one of the main reasons why I didn't want to call myself an activist, because I felt like activist was like the ground level, not to take nothing away from anybody, but like that was a ground level protest thing. I always, because
that's step one.
Because of my understanding of like politics, you know, growing up and being like having family around, I just never wanted, I knew like it was always about policy rather than, okay, I'm gonna go up here with this picket, you know, sign and, you know.
No, but always remember that when we saw that history, when we saw the civil rights movement, all of those things were tactics. They were part of a larger strategy.
Exactly.
And so we need to be able to get back to that stage, because we've actually kind of lost that. Like we just kind of go in the streets just for the sake of going in the streets, not understanding that when Rosa Parks said on that bus, there was a strategy behind that. You know, when the kids were sitting at the counters, you know, Freedom Summer, there was a strategy behind that. And so there's a bigger picture. You got to look at the eagle eye and then come back to the ground and see what's really the things that we need to put in place to be able to move things forward.
I think a lot of times, like when we talk about how they're like disconnected now, I think mainly because now, and what I've seen in the spaces I've been in, is like they call them in just to do the ambulance chasing. Yeah, you feel me? Like when there's a problem, it's like really reactionary. Yeah. And I think we haven't gotten in front of it since the civil rights
sensationalizing
movement.
Our trauma. That's what it is.
You get what I'm saying? And that's what it is. And me personally, I never wanted to get into that because the things that matter to me is like if I see an older lady, you know, walking across the street, I'm trying to get across the street. I'm making sure that they get across the street. Yeah, that ain't no activism. That's just being a good fucking citizen,
act of kindness,
and a neighbor. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing holds true with like, you know, I seen a neighbor. She fell, like literally fell. Her husband was there, or the son was there. I can't remember. But he was like, he had this look on his face, like, "It's no way I'm gonna be able to pick her up. Like, it's no way." And then there was another lady that was there that was older. So all these people are older, and I just literally stopped, got the car, and was like, "Nah." The car was running out. They was like, "Man, your car running." I'm like, "It'll be all right. If it gets stolen, that's the act of God or something. Somebody needed it." But that's the activism that I feel like we need more. Like, where's the interpersonal, like just being kind of your damn neighbor. You know what I'm saying? And then it's never like a follow-up, like as far as like it, like you said, it's sensationalizing, but enough of that. The next step, advocacy. I know you do that too. And I wanted to get into that because it's like 4 phases of like, engagement or whatnot. It's direct service, it's indirect service, right? You got advocacy, and then you got research. Yeah. And I think I've seen you in damn near every last capacity possible. And I think we met after you ran for state rep. Yeah. Tell us about
in 2016.
In 2016. So tell us about what the mentality was going in to run for office, because a lot of people come to me, but I just like, nah, that's not my. I'm not Fran. I can't write a law.
You don't have to know how to write laws. There are people whose jobs that is. You just need to be able to be that person that has that voice and walking into that space knowing. Hey, sometimes that's what it is, but you got to know that you're that fighter. Like you're going to be that person that's going to stand toe to toe with these people who are basically trying to like tear down our communities. Yeah. So
So I remember when you ran. It was crazy because Roy came in and split the vote. And I'm bringing this up because
multiple people came in.
It wasn't just Roy.
It was like a 6 or 7.
It was like 6 or 7. And, but he came in like at the last fucking minute.
Yeah, because he's a Hardiman.
And yeah.
All you need is the last name, whether or not you're competent or not.
You're right. You're right. I'll attest to that one. Yeah, because it's a few others that don't have the name.
I lost by 279 votes. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So when we talk about work, you don't have to know how to write a policy or whatnot. So if I was to run for office, what happens? Who would approach me to help me write that law?
I mean, so when you run for office, you just building out your platform. Like you're identifying the issues that matter to your community. Hopefully you're actually listening to your constituents so that your platform is based on what they need, not what you think they need.
Exactly.
And then you just, from there, you building out the issues and the platforms that you're going to be talking throughout the election. And so you think about your slogan. My slogan was "Together We Build," because one of the things I was doing, and people were like, maybe that cost you the election because people want their politicians to lie to them. I wasn't going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that I can get something done when I'm going to need you to help me. Like, I'm not your savior. And I was like, that's part of the problem that we have with elected officials, especially in the Black community. We got this savior complex that I elect you to solve all my problems. And I'm like, no, you actually got to engage in this process because when I go up to Tallahassee, I am one of 120.
Exactly.
And I got to get them on board. And so if you're not speaking up and you're just asking me to speak up, it's not going to work.
Exactly. I brought that up because we've had a lot of like different situations come up. But how do you get behind certain people, right? And what goes into that decision, right? And then because a lot of people get elected, like we're in election season right now, right? And I see a lot of people get elected and they have a certain particular policy there, or just like what is their plan that they're moving on or campaign. And then when they get into office, they switch. You get what I'm saying?
But that's where accountability, so we always, at least me, I always say that the day after the election is when the real work begins. Like you don't elect someone and then disappeared. I mean, that kind of happened with Obama.
Yeah.
With our Black community, it was like, we got our Black president and it's like, he gonna solve all of our problems. I'm like, no. You actually needed to continue to talk to him and continue to engage him and actually have a platform of issues that you wanted him to address because he can't figure it out on his own. And so with Tallahassee, because, we have our different levels of government, we have our local governments, and even in our local, you have your counties and your cities. But at the state level, you have Tallahassee where we have 120 state representatives and we have 40 senators. And so to be able to understand how to get a bill to become a law, it's a process. We have committee weeks where people have to mobilize up to Tallahassee. They got to go up there and lobby their local, they got to lobby their state electeds. They got to lobby them while they're in district before they have to go up to Tallahassee where they're stuck up there for 60 days straight.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be able to come
home.
So
hold on. Let's bring this back. Legislative session. Just put it into context. Legislative session, right?
Yes.
Is 60 days.
Yes.
Out of 365. And it's usually the first quarter.
Yes.
So just put it in just to bring it home.
So during election years,
this year is
January to March.
And
then non-election years, it goes back to March to May.
And then the feds, I heard, do February to December or something like that.
For elections?
No, we're talking about their session. Their session is February
it's ongoing throughout the year. They have recess and everything, but it's ongoing throughout the year.
Okay, cool. Because that was one of the things. But isn't it like they start in January on a year that's not an election, but if it's an election, they go in February or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? About.
Yeah, but people don't know. Like in Florida, they only got 60 days to make decisions, which sometimes, because of who the majority is right now, it's actually a good thing that they only got 60 days because we always say they only got 60 days to fuck things up. And so, because if they had more time than that, only God knows where we would be in Florida. So it's like, because remember, every session we going in, they arming teachers, they putting guns in the classroom, they taking the lottery money that's supposed to go towards education and they taking that money away. They're taking away from the Affordable Housing Trust because they keep giving tax breaks to everybody, so we're running out of money. So then they dip it into the other trust funds that we have that's supposed to be going towards affordable housing. So it's like the Republicans who are in control right now just keep taking everything away. So it's like, thank God we only got 60 days for y'all to mess this thing up.
I know there's some Democrats out there doing some fuck shit too, but we gonna get into that later. But I want to ask this question: when it comes to Obama, do you feel like it was solely Obama to blame, not saying to blame, so to speak, for why, blacks didn't get out of the situation they is, or was it the lack of that accountability? Was it more so the lack of accountability, or was it?
That's not a simple question
I know,
to answer. I mean, for me, the main thing is people got to understand we live in a plutocracy, which means that
you gotta break that down.
Plutocracy is basically the wealthy runs our government.
Okay.
And so Obama is a corporate Democrat. So what he put in place, the things that he supported was to enrich the rich. And so our people continue to struggle. And so we have to acknowledge that the person that we elected wasn't the person that we needed.
Actually,
and there was no accountability.
And there was no accountability, right? And we always say, well, Obama couldn't do what he wanted to do because
he had the majority in the first 2 years and didn't do crap jack
and
shit.
didn't do it, nothing.
So, and then he lost it. So then he couldn't do anything. And now we in the situation that we in right now.
This is crazy. So when it comes to Democrats, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna talk about the Democrats because I'm tired of losing. I'm gonna say the same shit Gillum said. I'm tired of losing. He lost. I'm tired of we having to get the corporate Democrats. Yeah. It seems like every 4 years, no matter what your name is, Elizabeth Warren or who else, it's still the corporate establishment bureaucratic vote. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when we look at last year or the last election, we had Hillary, or just fuck it. Lord. Let's go to Obama. Let's go to Obama back when Obama ran. Yeah. It was Obama, but Hillary was supposed to go, right? And they wanted her so bad. Then the second time around,
they rigged the election and got her in.
You know what I'm saying? And then the third time, so they tried it every time. It's like, how the fuck, bro? And then this time it was like so overtly obvious, and I think that contributed to like swing votes, in my opinion. Like when Hillary, like one thing I know is when Obama got elected, Obama, one of the main reasons he won in Arizona, because I was in college out there, there's a lot of veterans. Everybody was voting for McCain. Okay, everybody loves McCain. When McCain got Sarah Palin, the vets said, nah, we ain't doing it, and they went to Obama. Like literally, that was the switch. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when it looked, I felt like with Hillary, it was like when we getting Hillary or Trump, and I felt like it was just like the worst of both worlds.
Like, how do you go to your community? Because I remember having to knock on doors and having to talk to our community members about going out to vote, and it's like a vote for her is a vote against him.
Exactly.
Like that's the message that we had in the community, because it's not like even a vote for her means these things for our community. A vote for her is a vote against him because she ain't stood on nothing that was going to benefit our community.
But I feel like every time that's what they doing with black people. They want us to do like this.
I mean, they take us for granted. Yeah, they show up. The numbers have always shown it. The numbers have always showed it is that we will always show up for this Democratic Party that doesn't do anything. I mean, I publicly resigned, what was it, last year or the year before?
Because you was a committee woman, right?
I was the treasurer of the Florida Democratic Party. Yeah. So I was a state officer.
Yeah.
And I resigned very publicly, and I was like, I'm done with this shit.
I remember that.
I was like, I'm done because y'all don't care about black people. Yeah. And I told them straight up in an open letter, I was like, y'all don't care about black people. So I'm no longer going to be here, sitting here perpetuating this cycle that y'all have where y'all pretending that y'all care about us and the resources coming into our community 2 weeks before the election.
You know what I'm saying? I just...
And the Republicans, like, they have a whole black strategy.
Yeah, and it's like... and I hate it. I always hate this. Yeah. I hate this and this is why you never gonna see me. I hate when they bring in everybody the last 2 weeks.
They bring in the rappers.
They bring in the rappers. They bring in everybody the last 2 weeks.
Instead of talking to us throughout the whole year.
Dude, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, y'all just selling it's like...
No, it's like, what's the hot ticket at the time? It's like, Trump won because of the poor whites. We need a poor white strategy.
I had somebody tell
Puerto Ricans just came in and flooded in. We need a Puerto Rican strategy. And I'm like, how about your loyal base?
Exactly.
That you never actually put in resources
and we've been with y'all since, after what? After we got free? Mm-hmm. After we got free, we went over to Democrats. I know in Florida, Harry T. Moore is the credit for that.
Oh, yes.
I want to do more research into understanding why he was converting and switching people over, because I just don't see it. I don't know. I got to do more research, because that even now when I look at stuff, I'm like, I just don't see them talking to us. Mm-hmm. Like, I've been watching this whole election. Nobody is saying nothing. Like, so what? You talking about reparations, bro? We spend money in 6 hours. What the fuck you think they're gonna do once we get it? Like, we gonna spend the money in 6 hours. It's data to prove it. For years we've been doing it. Like Miami, I literally been doing the research. You know, we had $1 billion between 1968 and 1980. You know, we got a Miami-Dade County, Liberty City, Overtown got $1 billion. But it was either lost, stolen, or squandered. And what it means, and what I mean by that is, like, we had people. They gave us based on they used our own shit against us. We want our own people to represent our own, but they never been able to run. They never been in the capacity to run $100,000 account. But we, you know what I'm saying, the same thing. We going at I think her name Betsy. Yeah. For you know what I'm saying, and remember when they asked all them questions about have you ever ran a company that managed this amount of money before? And she's over the school board and she's like, no. So what you think gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like one thing after another, and it's just like. The Democrats ain't for us. The Republicans ain't for us. And I'm tired of like doing this whole, let's fucking vote for the lesser of the two evils. It's like, no.
I mean, but that's part of the conversation that, you know, we refuse to have in America about third parties and understanding that other countries, you can have 26 parties being represented in a parliament. And the United States has a stronghold where they do not want more than 2 parties to be in control because literally when you start divvying up their sides on certain policies, especially on social policies. And that's what I always want people to understand is that when we're talking about the differences between Republicans and Democrats, you're talking mostly about education. You're talking about abortion rights, reproductive justice issues. But when you talk about money and wealth, they are both on the same page.
Side. Yeah.
They're about we need the rich to stay rich and we're going to figure out the ways to do that. And the poor will continue to be that and they will continue to suffer.
It's sort of like Foot Locker, Foot Action, and Champs. Like, no matter which one you go in, they all got to rise
up. They don't want the Working Families Party to rise up. They don't want they will squash these other parties because they need to maintain that control between the two of them.
And well, I know in Florida it fucks us up because we are a closed primary state.
Yes.
And me personally, I'm an independent. But I've had
you can't really vote.
Yeah.
Because in our neighborhood, if you ain't a Democrat.
If you ain't a Democrat, you can't really vote. Yeah. And so I found myself converting. Yeah, you like switch back and forth. And I want to make that clear to the Democrats. Like, there are black people that are Democrats, but they're only Democrats to vote for who you want us to vote for. But we are not loyal to you anymore because I'm just like,
and they need to hear that.
I'm just to a point where it's just like I seen Democrats.
Yeah,
I seen Democrats go up there and bullshit with the same and fuck me over at the same time that Republicans fucked us over. And the only difference is what type of tie they was wearing. When it was red, it was blue.
I mean, but that's part of like the conversation we need to be having around like our Black political revolution of like, how is it that we are going to hold both parties to task around, y'all don't show up for us? Because right now, when you start looking at how the Republican Party is maneuvering, you start seeing more and more at those Trump rallies, how many more black people are standing there and all that stuff compared to the Democrats when it's more of the establishment. Like, you don't see the community there. I remember when they had the debate here in Miami, and I went on a rant on Facebook, and I was like, "What is this room?"
Mind you, she's VIP. She was able to go to.
No, I didn't go.
I thought you went.
I was outside with the workers who were protesting.
Yeah, because I know
was like,
my people was there.
Why are all these party people in here? Y'all in Miami, and I don't see no community people in here. And I was like, I wonder why y'all keep losing. All of y'all had tickets that y'all could have handed to someone in the hood and be like, come see this forum. But everybody want to take selfies with the freaking candidates. And I was like, this is why y'all keep losing, because the people that y'all need to understand why they need to turn out, why it's important for them to turn out, y'all are completely disconnected from them. They didn't even know a freaking debate on what's happening in Miami. And it's like, this is what's wrong with this party.
Yeah, like for me, I'm turned off from it, and I'm one of those people who are like a concerned and engaged citizen, and I'm turned off from it. That says a lot.
Yeah,
that it's like for the first time, I literally have remotely thought like, why the fuck am I voting for president? I'll vote for everything else.
You gotta vote.
But I'm sitting there, and you know what's so bad is I know I gotta fucking vote.
You gotta vote.
I know I gotta fucking vote, and it's just like it's like fuck. It's not saying I'm not gonna vote. Yeah. It's just saying like.
It's bad that you.
It's like the president is like all y'all gonna lie anyways. I'm more concerned about
And for
Us
me,
getting another sheriff in Dade County.
it's always about, vote for the president. But I'm like, understand the importance of your local elections, because, they always say all politics is local, because it's those people, those decisions that are going to be felt and impacted in your community on an everyday basis. Your county commissioners in Miami-Dade County, for the first time ever, we're hitting term limits.
Yes.
So our whole county commission is about to flip.
Yep.
We are about to lose
Everybody.
every black
Yeah.
commissioner. Audrey Edmondson, Dennis Moss, Barbara Jordan, Jean Monestein. We're about to lose them. And so who is coming in their place? People are not being challenged. And these are the frustrations that I have within our own community of why aren't you asking questions? Why is Keon about to walk in to Edmondson's seat with no real challenge?
Because
why is it that Oliver is about to walk in basically into the seat? And we need to be having these conversations, because that's where accountability becomes hard.
I'm gonna be brutally honest.
How can you hold anyone accountable when they feel that they're untouchable?
I'm gonna be brutally honest. It's because we get a little bit too close to these people, and myself included. And people get it confused that they think this shit turn on and off quick. I shake your hand, but that don't mean I ain't gonna punch you in the face.
You ain't gonna get physical.
You know what I'm saying?
That was not literal.
And that's what I meant. It wasn't physical. It was literal. But at the same time, it's like OG. If I got a problem in Miami Gardens, I'm bringing it to him first quarter. And I think people who are and I seen this when we did the hurricane stuff, right? We was doing emergency response. We contacted local officials. That's mainly how that work got done. Exactly. Was by contacting local officials and then having that communication open, communication line open. Most of our people don't know who the fuck their commissioner is. Yeah. Most of our people don't even know that we live in unincorporated Miami-Dade, or we live in this section of the city, or we live
or don't even understand the governance in their city. Like exactly. I have a weak mayor versus a strong mayor. My mayor actually can't really do nothing. They just the mayor in name only.
Exactly.
They actually don't have no real power. The council actually has the power. So being able to understand that governance is part of the the lack of knowledge that we have in our community.
So speaking about that, we're going into a new year. She brought up Peace in the Hood earlier, but we're switching that around a little bit.
Q&A.
To Q&A. We switched it around. We rebranded it, so y'all the first people to know. Well, Trapping Ain't Dead did know, because I said it last episode too. We're switching the platform. Not saying that we getting away from the hood shit, because it's still about, when I first got in this work, it was more about talking about the deep-rooted issues of the trap. The dehumanization cycle, which I learned from DD at the time during their convening, which included poverty. Then it was a broken education system, mass incarceration, racial profiling, and it was just like a cycle that just kept going back and forth, back and forth. And I looked at that cycle and I said, no, that's the trap. That's a dude that I see go. He know that this system, like what he's doing, is illegal, and it's just a matter of time before he get caught up in it. But he has no way out. Most violent crimes are a direct reflection of poverty. And most violent crimes are intraracial based on the research I did. So it's just crazy how I just see like all this stuff happening, in the trap, and I just don't see like nobody really talking about the real issues. You know what I'm saying? Like the real issues of the trap. Everybody want to focus on the gun violence. They're going to come back this year. It's 2020. It's election year. They're going to come in the black community. They're going to sell you on gun violence. Mark my words. And I hate that shit. You know what I'm saying?
And they're gonna give you the solutions to mass shootings.
Yeah. And then they're gonna basically devalue your shit during the election. And then as soon as the motherfucker get elected, that shit gonna raise back up again. It's like, man, they play these fucking games, bruh. And it's like, do y'all really care? So when I started Peace in the Hood, I started to kind of like shed light, of course, on one, gun violence, but the overarching issues that we never got around to get to at these forums, because all these forums is you come in, there's a panel, talking heads, they want to tell you or superimpose what the fuck their beliefs are and what the problem is, but they stay way the fuck out the neighborhood, so they can't tell you. Meanwhile, the people who in the neighborhood telling you, hey, we need more community centers. They saying, well, it ain't the community centers, it's the parenting. How the fuck? If the parents work all day, how the fuck can I be a parent if I gotta work because affordable housing is an issue?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all these different factors, and that's what I feel like becomes an issue to me. Is like we still don't want to deal with the issue. So with Q&A, questions need answers, is more of a direct platform that's like in your face, talking to the elected officials actually being able to see these people and know who they are. Talk about, use data and technology and media to kind of like visualize what is really going on in our neighborhoods, because a lot of people are not like, a lot of shit be dense. Like, I know I can't read deep ass academic books, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like Q&A, it's like the workshop side is like, hey, how can I visualize this and make this easy, like what V did with climate change? How do I make this easy to where like it's no longer an urban myth in the neighborhood, it's actually a reality. Like, they're actually buying up our shit. You know what I'm saying? Based on the data.
Yeah.
They're buying up our shit, and the only equalizer we have is this data. Yeah. So I, together with Fran, she's doing the first one. We're talking about the census and legislative session, some of the things we got coming up. And since we're talking about the census, Florida last count, Florida had to add 2 districts, right?
Possibly.
Yeah. No, they did. They did. They went from 2000 to 2010. They went from 25 districts to 27 districts.
Yeah, and we could possibly get another 2
so
more.
we can possibly get
if
2
there's
more.
an accurate count.
So why is the census even important in the first place?
I mean, the census is about representation and it's about resources. Like, those are the main 2 things.
So when we say representation and resources, does that mean, like, when we say resources, what does break it down? Like, how does that person get counted matter?
So it matters because it's basically a dollar figure to every person that's getting counted, because there's over $900 billion in federal funds that has to be allocated.
Okay.
And so if your communities aren't properly counted, which we know in our communities, Liberty City, Little Haiti, Opelika, North Miami, basically a lot of the Black communities are what they call hard to count communities. So that means we always have an undercount, which means that those resources aren't coming down because it's as if you don't exist.
Yeah. So when we talk about, and I just talked about the $1 billion in the ghetto, did the census have a lot to do with that? Because of mismanagement and the mismanagement of funds is a different story, but just the count and the accuracy on what was needed.
The accuracy of the count, and when Obama, that's one of the things I'll give him credit for, is that he made sure a lot of money went into the census. Like, that department was overflowing with dollars. Mm-hmm. They were giving grants to community organizations, service providing organizations, to make sure that there was a count. Now you got this administration who basically lost almost all of the senior people in the census department. They all quit. It was like, y'all figure this shit out, is basically what happened. They barely gave any funding. And so what a lot of states were doing was that they were then allocating. So California allocated millions of dollars that the federal government normally would have allocated to make sure that they have a count. Florida, Ron DeSantis is like, I really don't care who gets counted. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. So there's no money. So it's like a lot of like progressive organizations, foundations that have had to like pull their monies together to make sure that they can give money to the people on the ground to, make sure that our communities are counted. And so people just don't understand, like, the connection to the census is bigger than the redistricting process. The redistricting is we figure out how, we figure out like the political representation of our communities. We'll see like if we'll gain 2 more congressional districts, which is what they've been saying about Florida for a while.
And that's congressional districts are federal.
Yeah, federal. So so that we may gain one like in Central Florida is where they were saying, and another one might be in South Florida. And so, but it also has an impact on our county districts as well, because the county is going to redraw their districts as well. And so when you're not counted, we don't know you exist. So when they're drawing the boundaries and the lines of who's going to represent who, if the Black community is undercounted.
And couple that with the term limits that you was talking about.
Now with term limits, because we're going to keep having this turnover. And
so if we do the term limit and they turn over, and then we know gerrymandering is a thing.
Yeah. Oh yes, and this is every 10 years, so we're gonna be stuck in this cycle.
Yeah. So we gotta get
So we gotta make sure our people get counted, because it also goes beyond that. It's about the research aspect. So it's like, the National Health Institute. You always see that there's barely any research being done on Black communities. Like we don't talk about the Black mortality rate. We don't talk about Black maternal death rates, and that's because people aren't studying us. When we go to the hospitals, white doctors don't know what to do with us because they're not studying us. And that also goes back to what the federal government funds. The federal funds, the resources are not just about TANF and, SSI and
What's
all of
TANF?
those. what is it?
TANF.
Yeah, TANF. Like, what is it? Temporary assistance for needy families.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's not just
when people say, the SSI is Social Security, right?
So yeah, Social Security.
So when people
income.
say all these little acronyms,
Yeah, sorry.
I have to.
Yeah, so Social Security income and temporary assistance for needy family. It's like the SNAP and all like Medicaid,
all
food
that.
stamp, all of that stuff. And so, but there's also the funding of science.
SNAP.
Food stamps.
That's food stamps. Yeah, that's a new name for it. Yeah.
It's like supplemental something.
So yeah, some little quirky ass word that just don't sound like food stamps.
So yeah, but they're also funding research, and so it's like, are they researching, Black people to understand like what are the things that they need to be curing that are impacting our communities? But if we're not counted, we don't exist. And they've also showed that children under 5 years old tend to be undercounted, and they tend to be undercounted in Black communities. So that means our children are not being counted. So that means when it comes to school districts being underfunded, it's because they don't know that children actually exist in our communities. This
is crazy.
Ripple effect of all these things of like how the census impacts our everyday lives for the next 10, because that data is for the next 10 years.
We had this big ass reparations fucking debate. And I've always went back to, nigga, we have to be properly counted. The data has to be there for them to roll it out. One, we have to be a nationality. We have to be a nation state. Like, that's one thing. Am I right?
Yeah.
We have to be considered, like, we have to be a nation state of people. So that means everybody has to get up under one banner and understand that this is the one banner. So I guess the one banner that everybody's under now is ADOS. Or whatever, and I've been seeing African descendants of slavery or some shit, and I just been like, y'all just claim anything these crackers throw at y'all. Like I'm not claiming that I'm the African descendant of a slave. No, I'm the motherfucker who built this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I know, like, and it's like I'm big on framing shit. Like if you frame shit the wrong way, because we got the Beat Me Award and shit. So I'm more conscious of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. That asset framing.
Yeah, that asset framing. Because I look at it a lot and I'm like, man, no, most niggas ain't po. We just don't have the right resources and the right skills to manage the money
financial
right.
literacy.
Yeah, like we don't have the resources. Like, or we can do business, but we so used to having to hustle. So we don't know how to build a business. We don't know how to scale a business. Yeah. So it's like, man, come on, man. Like, look at this shit for real. Yeah. Like, so when I look at reparations, going back, if we're not properly counted, how can they properly give us?
How can they actually distribute
a fair amount, and who does it go to? Because I'm pretty sure some white people gonna be in there trying to get
those
some
who are
reparations.
mixed. Yeah, they're gonna say
all the mixed people gonna be trying to get it and be like, "Come on, look at me, like I'm Thomas Jefferson's daughter." You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. Like I know it's like, come on, if it's white people in Africa claiming that they being oppressed and all this type of shit, just think like it's gonna be some white people in America saying the same type of shit.
I mean, they're already saying it.
Yeah, shit's stupid, man.
They say it's hard to be white in America right now.
Some bullshit. Exactly.
White fragility. They cry like, why are y'all attacking me because I'm white?
Just some bullshit.
I'm like, act right, do better.
It's some bullshit.
Use your privilege for something other than yourself.
So January 16th, we're doing Q&A. I guess it's going to be twofold. So one side is the workshops, and the other side is the media side. Like, what are some things that you could tell me that we're looking forward to doing with Q&A?
I mean, the main thing is that we want to inform our community. We need to educate our community about these processes. Like, governance is not something that's easy to understand. I mean, I studied it in college and I learned a little bit about it every day. And so it's more of like, let's get grounded in terminology. Let's get grounded in data and facts and how we can hold our elected officials accountable, because at the end of the day, these are people that you elect. And they seem to forget that they are serving you. We are in a representative democracy. So whether I voted for you or not, you are the person that serves my district. And that means that you should be able to talk to me, because I don't know how many people have noticed there are some electeds who don't even have town halls in their community. They don't come to their communities and talk to them about what their priorities are going to be. So we want to ask our state representatives who are going up to Tallahassee, what are your priorities? Because in the Florida House, you can only file 6 bills. So let's see what those 6 bills that you're filing, do they have any connection to your community whatsoever, or all those special interests that have come to you and asked you to file bills?
I didn't know that shit.
Yeah, so in the Florida House, the House of Representatives, they can only file 6 bills. In the Senate, it's unlimited.
It's unlimited because it goes from the House to the Senate.
Yeah. So no, because both of them have to move together. So both bills have to move together, but you need companion bills in both the House and the Senate. But in the House, you only have 6 bills, and so for your bill to be able to move, you got to then find a senator to file it on that end. And so the example is like the dignity.
I was just about to go and talk about dignity.
So
how did y'all go about doing that?
Valencia Gunder, who led the campaign along with Trey Rock, and all these formerly incarcerated women, very powerful women, they led this group. And so being able to identify sponsors in both chambers. So they had Representative Chevron Jones and they had Senator Jason Pizzo. And so they were able to move those bills together at the same time in both chambers. And so ultimately, when it got to the floor, it made the process easier because they were both moving together.
So yeah, so you're saying that's like a rare process.
Yeah,
you get both
rare.
of them. Very rare.
It's very, very, very rare because sometimes one side is stalling and slowing down the process, and you only have 50 days. Out of the 60 days, you have 50 days before the bill dies. If it doesn't make it out of its committees, and what we always say when we're in Tallahassee is that you know a bill is going to die by how many committees they assign it to. So if they assign it to 3 or more committees, you already know leadership want that bill dead. They don't want it passed. But when you see that bill only assigned to one committee, you like, they want that bill to pass, and they already got the votes ready to move it. And so I believe dignity got assigned to like 3 committees, and so but they were able to move very quickly. And partly it's because I love my Senator Jason Pizzo. I voted for him, but he uses his privilege to benefit our community.
Yeah, he does.
And he makes it very clear. He's like, I know I'm a white man. You know, and I'm a white man that got money, and I'm going to make sure I do what I need to do for my community.
And that's all I ask. It's not about how much money you got. It's about
like, what are you doing with the power that you got?
The power you got. Exactly. And it's like, every time we need something, I see Pizzo.
Yeah.
I rarely see James Bush. I'm going to name names because I don't give a fuck. I seen your ass in Winn-Dixie every motherfucking day. You went and hollered at my motherfucking mama every time in Winn-Dixie. Every time. Every time my mama would come home and be like, yo, I seen that man, James Bush, he running for state rep. That was a whole year before the election came, yo. But we don't see you right now.
Well, he's not my representative.
You feel me? Like, I need to see my representative. Not to say that he's
consistency.
not. Not to say he's not doing it. I don't want to say, I don't want to get that misconstrued. It's not saying he's not doing it. It's just that I want to see you as much as I seen you in Winn-Dixie. I knew I could catch your ass at Winn-Dixie after 5. And you get what I'm saying? Like, you did all that shit to get elected, but
once you got there,
and I don't say this to just pick at James Bush.
But once you got there,
and the standard that I'm holding is that Cynthia Stafford, to her credit, I'm not gonna say it was a lot of people in there, and because I'd be lying, but she came to the African Heritage Cultural Arts Center every time. She came and told us before.
She was always committed to making sure her community knew what was going on.
Exactly. Yeah. And she came and gave us a rundown after. And she always was very personable and willing to answer questions, tell us what got passed, why it didn't get passed, what were the failings, what were her failings.
Yeah. She was one of my favorite reps to work with.
I need that. Exactly. I need that same.
Like that.
I'm holding everybody to the same standard. And if you can't do that, then fuck you. I'm coming up there with Dickies. Like, everybody's coming up there with Dickies, and we not coming in no suits. We going in y'all office. We not setting up no fucking appointments. Y'all it's a representative democracy, just like she said. So I think
we gotta set up an appointment.
We just gonna walk. Cause if we there, how the fuck you gonna
shut it down?
I ain't got to, because my presence alone puts the fear of God in these people. Am I lying? Every time we done been somewhere, the first thing they looking at, that nigga in the hoodie. I got a camera in my hand. Why the fuck you scared? You know what I'm saying? But they paying attention to the niggas in the hoodie. Yeah. I look at every time when they want to talk, when senators want to act like they hip, they come to the roughest parts. No, don't come to the roughest parts. Now it's like, nah, fuck y'all. Get the fuck out of my neighborhood until you do what you're supposed to do. You know? And it's my job, I feel like, to tell the people in my neighborhood, no, tell their ass they got to go till they come with some shit that makes sense. You know? Like, I'm just at a point where I'm just fed the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just fed up because it's just so much. Like, I feel like they split the vote and they play this, I forget what they call it, like this little fucking these political games with us. Like, they say they're gonna do one thing, they promise things, they say they're gonna do this and the third, and then on the back end nothing happens. And it doesn't even matter like, I've seen people hold people accountable and don't get shit for the whole time that person been in office. So it's like, what do y'all talk about? But then somebody else who's a black professional or whatnot, they motherfucking got some money and go do and go lobby real quick on some bullshit. Meanwhile, people can't afford their house. But you can lobby for some shit that I personally don't think is as important as affordable housing. But you can get what you need.
But that's the thing, though. But that goes back to like why we said we're switching up the format with Q&A, is that people need to understand that they can also lobby. Like there's community lobbying that you can also be doing. So you ain't got to be paying lobbyists to do that. You can go up to Tallahassee, just coordinate a day, drive up there, and you can drive up and drive back. I remember doing those trips where we drove up early in the morning and drove right back down once we were done.
Look.
I did it for 7 years.
Fran is going to schedule the appointment. But we mobbing in the Dickies. We don't know shit. We just walking, okay? That's just how I think that's at this point we got to start. Like, I think
you got to start being up. I mean, the capital is far for a reason. Yeah, you know, they don't want y'all there, but you got to be there.
To Aaron's point, Aaron said that. Aaron said the further the capital is away from the big city, the less engaged people are civically. Exactly.
And ain't no train that go up there. There ain't nothing. You got to get on that road.
Train. I got to
get up on that road. Them speed traps with Popo ready to pull you over. You got,
exactly.
They got a lot of speed traps heading up.
That's why I'm riding the bus.
So yeah, get on the red coach. Get on one of the big buses and about 8 hours. Depending on how you drive.
Depends. But I know that motherfucking Greyhound don't do it.
Red coach.
So you know,
I'm not advertising. But
I'm just saying, because Red Coast do straight through, right?
I mean, they stop in Orlando, like 2 or 3 stops, and that's it.
Okay, because Greyhound, they got to stop on all the little backwoods swamps, my nigga. I went around all the little backwoods shit. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, no.
I went to Pensacola. I had my grandfather passed some time ago during the holiday season. But it was last year, I want to say, or the year before. I can't remember. I want to say it was last year. And pretty much I had to get on the bus because to get up there because there was no other way. And I got on the bus. And prior to that, which was crazy, is I told my mom, like, just put me on the bus. I'll be all right. Because we didn't have the money to like get on go to Pensacola. And I was like, just put me on the bus. But it was 18 hours to go to Pensacola. You know, Pensacola is past Tallahassee.
I know.
So it was just like, and then then going through Panama City and it's like a strip of land and everything else is water. It's like, oh man, I was scared as shit. And then there was this one part that was a bridge. It was a swamp. I swear to God, I seen a gator. I was like, dog, they just waiting for us to fall in this shit. Like, they just waiting for us to fall in this shit. But I say that to say, like, I don't mind taking that trip and I'll appreciate that trip because now I get to take that trip and possibly talk to those people on that Greyhound, right? Because they coming from all different type of places.
And the thing about it is that from my experience, a lot of the reps and senators, they actually love when community comes up because, again, you're not going up there to talk to your rep. You know,
exactly.
You check in with them right quick, understand, what the priorities. But you got to lobby with some of these other people who are completely disconnected from your communities to understand, like, the decisions that they're making. These are the people that they're impacting.
Yeah, because I was just going to ask a follow-up question about how important is it to work across the aisle, meaning like Democrats and Republicans.
You have to. You have to. There's no other way to get it done.
Friends.
I mean, in the House.
So it just be political theater.
Yeah, basically. In the House, you've had for the most part a supermajority Republican, which means that they really don't care what Democrats think or say or whatever. They're like, we don't need y'all for anything. In the Senate, they're more friendly because one, they're more experienced. Like they already done served their 8 years in the House and now moved over to the Senate. And so they're a little bit more easy to work with. So that's why we are able to stop a lot of bad things from happening in Florida because the House will pass it on through and then the Senate will stop it.
What are some things that we should be looking out for coming up this legislative session?
I mean, this session, oh God.
Yeah, that's why I brought you on the first episode. Yeah. The first episode of the new season, I brought Fran on because I had you here. You notice I've had you 3 times in like 6 months. I had you here right after the election, right? I had you here to let people know, like, look, we got to work. I had you here for Trap Social, and I'm bringing you here on the first episode of January 2020 for a reason because we need to be ahead of the game. We're kind of behind the 8 ball right now, but we need to still, we got some time. And I think we need to, like, know what's on the agenda. At least watch what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Get involved, understand what's going on, because it's still a lot of us that don't know, that don't understand the legislative process, that don't know that these bills are getting passed, don't know how to track that process. So what are some things to look out for?
I mean, so the main things is like the issues are always going to be around education. Is going to be around economic development and taxing, because, you know, in Florida, it's always about how do we give more and more tax breaks to the wealthy.
But we already, this is like a tax.
Yeah, we don't,
tax haven.
Yeah,
that's what they call it.
Yeah, we have a very regressive tax system, and because we basically don't tax nothing.
We don't tax shit,
we have sales tax.
My mama worked for Florida Department of Revenue. Okay, so I know everything they get taxed and everything they don't.
We have sales tax, but they still keep trying to figure out ways to cut things. And so, but then again, what does that impact? Is our education.
Yeah.
So we always having these conversations around teachers' salaries, because there's like, I remember like there's like a few counties where they have like thousands of openings for teachers because nobody wants to work because they're like, I'm not getting paid. So why am I going to work? Like, I got debt. I got all these other things that I got to deal with. Housing is definitely going to be a huge issue again. I know they've introduced a rent. It's basically like a tenant protection type of legislation. Basically kind of like saying that there's a bill of rights for tenants of like protecting them from landlords, slumlords, people who are not taking care of their properties and trying to give them rights, because in Florida, we don't have any real protections for renters. People have been trying to talk about rent cap or rent stabilization like they've seen in New York, because they're like, the cost of living just keeps increasing, but our wages are completely stagnant. And so we've been having conversations. I believe there's going to be like a people's housing forum, I think on the 20, don't quote me on the date, but I think it's the 23rd or the 23rd and the 24th.
Send me the flyer,
I'll send you the flyer. But they're gonna have like a people's forum, and they're encouraging people to come from all over the state and like, let's talk about housing, because right now the power is in the hands of the state. Like, people don't understand again, local electeds, why y'all not doing shit? And I'm like, they can't because the state took it away. Power, because Florida is what we call a preemption state. They literally like, if we see your local government trying to do something good for you, we're gonna take that power away from them. And
what's preemption?
So preemption is literally
because I heard that. Hold on, because I heard that around. Guns and local officials with Andrew Gillum.
The simplest way to talk about it is state interference. So the state is interfering in the role of local government.
It's so like micromanagement.
But they have the power to do so. It's basically local, county trumps city, state trump counties, federal government, Congress trumps state. And so our federalism and how
that's
basically
the
checks and balances. And so, but at the same time, it's like you use that power, you can use it for good or bad. Because the thing about it is like preemption or state interference is not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's about how it's being used. So right now, because of who's in the majority, the Republicans, they're using it to do a lot of horrible shit, a lot of horrible things. And so rent control. We can't rent control in the state of Florida because people are like, why local governments won't pass rent control? Because they can't. The state of Florida took it away from them, so only the state can do it. Local government cannot rent control.
Black people, we rent.
So
we need to take our ass up there to Tallahassee.
So
if you can go to, if you can get money to go to motherfucking homecoming, if you can get money to go to the classic, I need you to put money away to go to motherfucking legislative session. It's January 14th through March the 31st, something like that.
So it's January 14th to 14th. March 13th.
March 13th. That's, I know it's like 35. See, I have
60 days. So those are going to be the main issues. We're going to have some criminal justice issues coming up. I believe Valencia and the Dignity of Florida, like they're working on the shackling bill. So mothers who are pregnant while incarcerated and not shackling them down is one of the pieces of legislation that they're working on. And there's just like a lot of education bills, housing bills, and it's just more of the same about watching and making sure that they're not taking away rights from local government to be able to do things, because that's like the main concern up there.
Yeah, because I want to really pass some bills going forward. Me, my mind works. I'm just
just letting you know. So my mentor taught me in Tallahassee is that it's easier to stop something bad from happening than it is to push something good. It normally takes 7 to 10 years to pass something good, depending on how controversial it is.
That's what it is. It's like I see a lot of issues.
Take 10 years to pass something.
Look, it took 10 years for me to start this business, so I'm good. I started All Like Minds
Yeah.
Media in 2010.
Yeah.
We
Because remember, I
2020.
did immigration work, like immigration policy work
Yeah.
before this. And so we had introduced in-state tuition for undocumented students. They were graduating from Florida high schools, having to pay out-of-state tuition rates. It took 10 years to pass that bill. It took 10 years. And that was Republicans and Democrats filing that bill together. So it's about the communities that are being impacted. So it's like if they see front and center, these are bills that are going to benefit the Black community. Most likely they're going to make sure them things are deaded. You know, if it's to benefit children, they going to dead it. Like the thing that always used to piss me off being at the Capitol, because like I had to move up there for those 60 days. So I had to like leave my house in Miami and live up there. Children's Week was always the kind of interesting week because it would be all these little kids coming from all over the state, little kindergartners, all the way up to high school.
How the fuck y'all gotta pass out of school?
You know, because it's a children's week,
yeah.
You know, and so teachers are bringing up their kids and everything. Because like in Tallahassee, there's certain weeks.
Yeah, I know. They got like day committee.
So exactly. So they had Children's Week, and you see little hand paintings hanging all over the Capitol, the representatives and the senators hugging these little kids and all that stuff. And then what they do in the background? What they do the next
Plotting
day?
against them.
We gonna cut this. We gonna cut your free lunch. We gonna cut this. We gonna cut that. And I'm like, but you were just smiling with these kids.
You see what I'm saying?
And so it's like, again, it's like being able to like activate yourselves beyond just going up there for session. It's like to be civically engaged. It's a year-long process. Like it's all, every day, all day. You got to be engaged, and that's what's being used against us right now. Is that people are they tired. So they're like, fuck it, I want to disconnect from this. And I'm like, you can't. Because the more and more you disconnect from this, the more and more power you give to them to continue to hurt us.
Yeah, so, you know, we coming to an end.
Yeah.
You know, we've been here for about an hour rolling. You know, I literally had a goal of like staying within like 22 minutes. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Because my whole thing is like sit here. Like I know that, you know, my listeners don't listen past 22 minutes. So we're going to cut it down to 45 for you. Yeah. But, you know, we know y'all don't listen. Past 20 minutes. It's cool. It's a normal study that like literally
Yes, like the attention span.
The attention span. People don't listen past 20 minutes. And literally based on the data that I look at every week, people listen to 22 minutes at the most and cut this shit off. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at y'all. I love y'all. It's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Minus the commercials. Yeah.
You feel me? Exactly. See, you got it. Exactly. So that is basically exactly the same thing. So going, you know, wrapping up this episode and wrapping up this interview today with Fran. What are some things Community Strategies is going to be doing going into the new year?
I mean, so with Community Strategies, my whole thing is making sure, again, like giving our community the tools that they need to be able to advocate for themselves. And so that's me doing like coaching sessions. So I'm coaching an organization right now, teaching them how to navigate the legislative process, because one thing I wish is that service providing organizations that do not advocate is the most frustrating thing. Because I'm like, I don't know if a Belafonte Tacosi Center actually lobbies, because you can lobby.
No, here's the thing.
You can go out there and get money and resources.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it is, and I've just left. Well, fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Y'all know I left my job, right? October, and shit, Tacosi is right down the street from African Heritage. Now, that's not to say when we did have the infamous Ken Knight, okay? Mm-hmm. Ken Knight was a quasi lobbyist for us. But when you're in I don't know how the politics work when you actually are you're a program inside the county, right? So you have to then go and lobby inside the county. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I know for the most part, because I've sat with my boss plenty of times, and I don't, you know, and he doesn't like to play politics. That's how he says. That's how he frames it. He don't want to play politics, mm-hmm. and I get it. You don't want to play politics, and then, you know, pick a side, and then this person just spite you just because it has happened. Because I am who I am, and then he is who he is. We've gotten certain things in, right? Because me having a relationship with a local commissioner is different, right? So then they find out, oh shit, you work there. Okay, we'll make some moves, put some money there. But in a sense, why y'all didn't put no money there the whole time?
Because you didn't ask for it.
You get what I'm saying? Like, and
if you don't ask for it, they don't know you need it.
I literally, and to Edmondson's credit, I never forget, she came to the African Heritage Cultural Arts Center for what's crazy is I'm naming all these organizations that's been in the heat of fire. Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust did a mental health symposium, Black male mental health symposium. And they had brought all the delegates down, state, local, everybody was there. And of course, I was the technical director in that capacity, so I was there and I got to see it. So they did the whole presentation. I'll never forget. Edmondson walked up. She didn't say nothing and make it a public thing, but I lied. She did. She was embarrassed that she was the representative for that area, and the podium was so raggedy. The podium, I swear to God, on everything. I know we had 3 new podiums by the end of the month. Simply because she was like, that's unacceptable, and it changed my perspective on, at that time, that was 2014, the heat of Trayvon Martin, the turn of social justice in my life. So it was like, fuck the government, fuck the bureaucracy. And that was at one time that I could sit there like, well, we didn't really have that open line of communication with her.
Exactly.
Do you get what I mean? So how many times do we see that in our neighborhoods? Like, our people are going against our local officials instead of like
don't even get me started on that.
You know what I'm saying?
Because my job, because I work for the Center for Popular Democracy, Local Progress.
I wanted you to do that earlier when you talked about electeds.
Local Progress is basically, I recruit local elected officials. We train them. We get them to understand their role within government and governance and what does collaborative governance look like, which means building a shared agenda and a vision with your community. Like, you got to be able to be with them at the table and shape that agenda. And so community has to understand, you can't sit here, keep arguing and cursing them out when you haven't even made a phone call. And so, we basically train local elected officials on like giving them the tools that they need to understand that y'all can't set the agenda without community, and community can't, basically chastise y'all and call y'all out when they haven't even come to the table. Yeah. And so it's both sides have to be accountable to each other. And again, that's our community stepping out of the savior mentality of like, you have to do something without me telling you what to do. And I'm like, no, they don't know what to do unless you tell them. And if not, they just gonna be running somebody else's agenda.
I always bring this point up. Hillary Clinton, as much as I hate her. Hillary, you know what I'm finna bring up? That time when she had Black Lives Matter in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Remember she said what she said? She said, my job is not to tell you what your community needs. Your job is to tell me, and my job is to sell it to the white folk, to the Congress, essentially, pitch it to them. So it seems like that's the same thing, and I always bring that up because we hate Hillary. Hate is a strong word. Hate is a strong word. We really dislike Hillary, and her ways. I don't think I dislike her as a person or hate her as a person. I hate her ways politically. And that speaks to who she is as a person. But in that moment, she had a lot of truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I took
because that is the truth.
You get what I mean? Like, when are we getting to a point where it's no longer like, and Malcolm X said this shit in Ballad of the Bullet. He said, it's no longer
my favorite.
It's one of my favorites too because he says so much before he even gets into the speech, right? He talks about religion, leave your religion at home. He talks about his political philosophy, and he talks about black nationalism. He talks about, we want people to represent, people who look like us to represent us. But he also speaks to the puppetry. Yeah. Where he talks about it's no longer you can put a white face and call him Jesus and he gonna save us, and it's no longer you can put a nigga on the string as a puppet and then think that we gonna take what he say on face value. So yeah, man.
That's part of the conversation we always have to have, like all skin folk and kinfolk. And like, I'm not gonna vote for someone just because they're black.
Just like Cory Booker.
Oh God, I remember people were getting mad at me because I was like, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris or Cory Booker just because they black. Sorry, it's not gonna happen. I need to know your stances on issues.
Yeah, and Cory say he was saying all the black phrases like he was trying to pull out all the stops. It's like, Cory, just be yourself. We'll accept you. It's like that kid that he stay in the hood but
trying too hard.
Like, bruh, you ain't jump off the porch. You ain't gotta, like, understand, niggas respect that you is who you is off top. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta fake it like you somebody else.
Be authentic.
Be authentic, dog. And we would have respected it a little bit more. But because you want to be fool, we gonna treat you this way. Like, it's just crazy, man.
So we're gonna see presidential preference is gonna be coming up, I believe. Oh, can I remember the
What's
date?
Presidential preference?
March.
Hold on.
March 14th.
Presidential preference? That sound like they just prefer who? That's who they prefer to go with. That's the bureaucrats vote.
No. So that's when we vote. So Democrats that's when we vote.
The Democrats themselves.
March 17th.
Okay.
So we have presidential preference. So this whole slate of Democrats that we have right now.
Oh, we gotta basically go through and say.
We're gonna say this is who Florida picks.
All right. So y'all hear that? March 17th. Important dates. Legislative session starts January 14th. It ends on March the 13th, right? Mm-hmm. Presidential preference. That's March the 17th, right?
Yes.
March the 17th. So that means we got to vote in March. I think we have another vote in what? July? August? What about and then another one in November?
Yes.
So why did I think that it was July?
I mean, so you're gonna have in Florida
you have, like, primaries?
with our municipal elections, we're gonna have municipal elections all over the place throughout the whole year. But our main elections, March 17th for presidential preference. So that's where Democrats turn out, vote for. I mean, Julian Castro unfortunately just dropped out of the race, but you have Elizabeth Warren, you have Bernie Sanders, you got Corey, you got this Andrew Yang, you got basically Democrats will turn out for them, and then in August we have our primary. Where we'll end up voting for our county commissioners, all of those folks, our state reps, and then, then we move on to the November election.
God damn, man. We got so much.
And Census Day, April 1st.
Census April 1st.
April 1st.
God damn, man. We got so much.
And Census Day, April 1st.
Census April 1st.
April 1st.
Man, there's so many dates. Just to wrap this up, is it possible for us to get or is it anybody working on any type of guide in January? Like, is something coming out to let people know? Not that I know of. And I say that because I feel like the guides come out too late. They come out on election day, and it's 300 motherfuckers. Do we have a bill for that shit?
What, when the people when they ask you at the
election? Yeah, man, James Bush was
here, take this card in there.
Man, James Bush, I fucks with. I'm only saying your name so that my community knows who the fuck you is. And I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way. I'm just, I know that I've seen you in Dixie, dog. Like, I want people to know exactly who you are so they know this nigga actually got elected. We actually elected him. And we, you know what I'm saying? Because what happens is we'll get you in office and then we forget. So I'm just saying your name because I know you in my area. So if you've taken offense to it, it's okay. You can see me face to face. You know who I am. It's all good. I don't have no pressure with nobody.
Yeah.
It's just that I know that you're my representative when it comes to the state level. At the end of the day, if I'm gonna go, and I haven't said I don't want to say her name wrong. Is it Dodie or
Dottie Joseph?
Dottie Joseph. Okay, because some people say Dodie, some people say Dottie Joseph. So I don't know.
Yeah. In Haitian Creole.
Oh, okay.
Dottie.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go. I ain't gonna try it. It's just not for me. That's like one time I said Sakafet, and it was like just stink.
Sakafet.
Yeah, Sakafet.
Sakafet.
See, they didn't tell me that.
Sakafet.
That was the fake. That was the.
Because you have Sakafet and you have Sakafet.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I learned. I like saying that shit because it's just more aggressive.
You're like Sakafet.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some
shit. Like, what's going on?
Because Sakpa says like hi, hello. It's like saying hola in Spanish. Sakafet is like what's up. Like,
what's going on?
It's like Hispanics when they say ¿Qué pasó? You okay? You get what I'm saying? Harold, am I wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Oh gosh.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I had to ask. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like I see this all the time, man. And but to wrap up this interview, because I've been going too damn long. But to wrap it up, man, I appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you for having
giving
me.
us a rundown of what's to come. We are gonna put out a lot of content on Trapping Ain't Dead, All Like Bonds Media, Q&A, you name it, about this this election cycle, but also a lot of important other things that we got. Q&A is really like a year long. It's a monthly workshop that we have attached to the platform, but it's a monthly workshop we're gonna be doing every month. So January, February, March, April, May, all the way up to October, we're gonna be talking about an array of issues, which includes the census, legislative sessions, housing, home ownership, climate, gun violence, the criminal justice system, business and entrepreneurship, the whole nine, man. And we really gonna educate people. That's my thing. Is if y'all know me, every platform, everything I've ever done is about educating my people to know the same shit I know. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't make no sense that I know all this shit. And like the way I look at it is, and I started this talking about my uncle, but my uncle died and I didn't know half this shit.
I mean, like we said, we need to go back to the Black Panther method of Saturday schools.
Yeah, like, you know, that's what we
got to turn into Jehovah's Witnesses, walking around.
I mean, but
preaching the gospel of politics.
Yeah, but I think it's a way to do it. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like I was just on 15th today, and I know that, you know, when I pulled up on 15th, I just literally checked in and said, "Look, man, I just want y'all to know who I am. Straight up, I'm Munch. I'm gonna be coming back through here, and that's it. I ain't finna put I'm Munch. Okay, somebody gonna go and say, yeah, some nigga named Munch came. Yeah, I know Munch." And that's all it take. And then one thing, and that's how I used to start doing corner stores. You know what I'm saying? I used to go to every corner store, pull up, and just be like, "Man, y'all heard about that shit that happened with Kodak today? Kodak getting locked up. Man, fuck the system. I got you now. Clarence 13X method." You feel me? For real. Like, Clarence 13X was a 5%er. So, you know what I'm saying? And I took his methodologies because I felt like he was the only organizer that organized, so to speak, with the common people. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of people who organize with common people. Even though he was Nation of Islam, it's not a lot of people who organize with the common folk. You get what I'm saying? And I want to do that. I want to be able to break shit down to our people in a way that it can be understood. Because I'm tired of like us dealing with the same situations time and time and time again. It's
generation after generation.
Yeah, it's crazy. So where can the people find you?
Social
media.
I'm on social media. Francesca Menace on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Most see me on Instagram posting pictures of my food.
Business?
Community strategies. Also on Facebook. You just look up community strategies, and so I'm always down to have coffee or tea. I don't drink coffee, but we can have tea, sit down, talk. Because I'm definitely more about like making sure that people have knowledge and understand these processes, because this is how they get in us, is that we don't really know much about anything. And so they playing and using these games against us.
And you can find me, Machiavelli_Munch. You know what I'm saying? MAKAVELLI_MUNCH for people who need the spelling. All Like Minds Media, Trapping Ain't Dead, trappingaintdead.com. So, Trapping Ain't Dead podcast, you can find it on Facebook and Instagram, Trap Social 305 on Twitter, and trappingaintdead.com. And that's all, folks. I appreciate my team for coming in. Robert Jones, RGL, Ride or Get Left. That's my main man right there. You know what I'm saying? So when you see All Like Minds, just remember RGL, Ride or Get Left. I got probably hands down one of the greatest entertainers in South Florida right now. I don't say that because I'm biased. I'm saying that because y'all know I do a lot of shows as an audio engineer, and motherfuckers can't sing or perform. So I got Jay Howard in the building with me today. You know what I'm saying? Got a new single out, Drip. Y'all check that shit out on iTunes. You know what I'm saying? We gonna have it on the intro this week. I got my boy Harold, my 89 brother. You know what I'm saying? It's something spiritual. I got my boy Scope. He's our resident photographer for those who need to know. So any raw ass picture y'all see, just know that's Scope.